Hello and welcome to the 90s Nightmares podcast. In this episode, we're getting naughty. Or should I say, naughty.
Naughty.
Had to do it, man.
Yeah.
So, Courage the Cowardly Dog was one of the weirdest, most surreal things that my eyes have ever seen, even as an adult. I don't know about you, Booze.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
The way that they mixed different kinds of media with like live action or claymation sometimes, or just different art styles.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever seen that. I had never seen that before. And that was pretty dang cool to watch.
For sure. For sure.
This episode in particular that we're talking about is called Freaky Fred, and it originally aired on December 3rd in 1999. We start the episode with Fred basically speaking directly to us. He's kind of like he's like our internal monologue, and he's in our minds. He says something to the effect of, "The voice you hear is me talking directly to you," or something. So right away, where it's almost like we're meant to relate to this guy,
Yeah.
or feel connected somehow to this guy. Are you getting that?
Yeah, I definitely felt the same way.
It's an immediate fourth wall break because he lets us know that we exist.
right.
Which was very cool too.
Yeah, for sure.
So he's in a van, I think, on the way to Muriel's house. And then so now we cut to Muriel, and she's excited to host Fred. We find out that Fred is actually Muriel's nephew.
Yes.
And one of the funniest like running gags in this episode is just how much Eustace hates Fred. I think that's so funny.
I know. Didn't think you'd ever find somebody that hates more than Courage, but I feel like he definitely hated Fred more.
You might relate to this dude, but like the older I get, the more Eustace I get.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think I saw a meme related to him not that long ago, and it just made 100% sense. Don't relate to him at all when you're a kid, but then as you get older, you're just like, man, whether I want to or not, I'm slowly turning into Eustace.
As a kid, you're like, dang, what a grumpy old man.
Yeah. Why is that guy so mad all the time?
But now as grumpy old man, it's like, I get it for sure.
Definitely.
Man. All right. Well, Muriel asks what she, hold on, let me double check the notes here. So Fred ends up at Muriel's house and he's holding his little, I don't know what it is, but like this little briefcase or something. It's just it's like a portfolio. It's so cute.
Yeah.
And then Muriel asks to what she owes the visit. And Fred says, holiday. In the creepiest way possible. I'm going to try not to, impersonate Fred every time I quote him in this episode, but it's going to be...
It's hard not to.
It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Oh, I popped in one of our homies, Horror on the Rocks. I popped into one of his live streams and just randomly said, say naughty.
He does it really well.
He's actually like embedded the sound clip from the show in his soundboard.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think he says it enough. It might as well be part of his whole shtick at this point. So
it really should. So I popped in. I unsolicitedly asked him to say naughty, and then he hit play on the soundboard, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I got what I wanted. And
yeah, got my fix. I'm out.
Thanks, Rocco. And then I left.
Yeah.
I couldn't stay for very long. Where are we at here? Yeah. So as Fred says holiday, he's got this like weird side eye thing going on, and it couldn't get any weirder.
No.
We don't, I say we still don't know this dude's story. It's been 60 seconds since the episode started. So what do you expect? But there's this giant question mark of what's up with this guy?
Yeah, definitely.
Very clear. He's off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Courage gets to meet Fred, and of course, he's terrified, just like he is of
everything.
Of everything else that he gets to interact with. But he seems extra scared this episode. And maybe I'm just reading into that too much, or maybe he actually is more scared of Fred than most other things. But in any case, I'm not surprised.
No, not at all.
Eustace tries to leave to go to the hardware store because he just can't stand Fred. Any excuse to get out of this house, he's going to take it, man.
Exactly.
Muriel stops him at the door. She says, nah, get back here and stay. Come here. We have guests. You have family.
Yeah.
Now we get to see Fred's bracelet as well, and it says, "Do you remember what it says, dude?" I'm struggling to remember.
Uh,
Something like call 555-5555 if
yeah.
for lost barbers.
Yeah. Yep. That sounds right. Because I was blanking there. I'm still kind of blanking, but I mean that's ringing more of a bell than what I got in my head right now. So
Super hang tight. Recording. I'm double checking something. Noise. Okay. Just making sure I locked in one of my settings, and I'm pretty sure I did. Okay. Sorry you had to see that live, everybody. Well, Courage is asked to show Fred to the bathroom, and they end up getting locked in because Eustace locks them in, I think, just so he doesn't have to deal with him.
Yeah.
Or so it gives them an excuse to actually leave the house to go to the hardware store to fix the lock on the bathroom that's now jammed.
Yeah. It's so funny.
Can we talk about this weird art style in Courage the Cowardly Dog too? How everything is just warped and it's just there's not a single straight line in that whole show.
Right. Yeah. It's so unique though, and so Courage at this point that I know I've said it a lot in a lot of the episodes that we've done. I just feel like a lot of this stuff just went over my head as a kid, and then when you come back and revisit it as as an adult, I feel like you appreciate it even more.
I think so too. It's almost like you don't know what you have until you get to look back on it.
Right. Exactly.
Dang, it makes me think of that quote. I don't know if you watch The Office as much as I do, but Andy, in one episode, he says, I wish there was a way to know that we were in the good times before we've left the good times.
Yeah. Yeah, that hit. That hit hard.
It really did, dude. I've seen that series enough times that's like embedded in me now. And
for sure.
I try to be more mindful about
Yeah. It does really make you, take a step back and think about things like that at least a little bit more, because it does definitely rings true. That's for damn sure.
It's for dang sure. All right, let's keep going. Fred tells Courage about his first pet. They're locked in the bathroom now. Fred, Courage, I think sitting on the toilet. He's shaking.
Yeah.
Because he's so scared of Fred. Rightfully so. Dude's a creep.
Yeah.
And as it's almost like Fred is making confessions to Courage about how he is the way he is.
Mm-hmm.
The first example is he talks about his first pet, which I don't know if he specifies what it is, but it looks like a gerbil.
Yeah, something like that. It's in that realm for sure.
So as Fred pulls out his clippers from his little portfolio, pulls out his clippers, he starts cutting Courage's hair as he's telling Courage the story of how he, became naughty. And the music is let's talk about that music. There's that one recurring like melody.
Mm-hmm.
How does it go? It's almost like na na na. It's like na 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 boo boo.
Yeah, it's almost like like a nursery rhyme.
It is
very nursery rhyme type of thing.
Very childish.
Yeah.
Very immature.
Mm-hmm.
But that music box or whatever it is that it's played on just adds to that creep factor.
Definitely does.
I loved
it. Yeah, I did too. And I mean, I feel like again, that's just another one of those things that, you don't see or don't hear, even really hear until, you get older and you rewatch or revisit it, and just small things like that. You're like, man, no wonder this show kind of creeped me out as a kid, because I'm looking back on it now. I'm like, it's still pretty creepy, No
wonder. The art style, the music, I think they nailed it with this show.
For sure. Absolutely.
So what happens next? While Eustace is tasked with going to the hardware store, the camera cuts to him just in his truck, parked on the side of the road, reading the newspaper. Which again, love it.
Yeah, I can relate. I can relate to that. Now that I like stay home dad type of thing, like I never thought I would envy or miss my drive to work. drive to work and from work.
Oh, interesting.
Just like it was like 45 minutes one way. So that was like an hour and a half every day that I would just have silence to myself.
Now,
And
were you in silence, or were you listening to music or podcasts?
it would depend on the day. A lot of the time in the morning, I'm like half asleep anyway, so I wouldn't be listening to anything. It was just kind of a nice, quiet, drinking coffee on the way to work, and then on the way home, you could listen to music or podcast or whatever and stuff like that. But I never thought I would miss that until I didn't have it anymore. And then, so when I remember when I was watching this episode and saw Eustace just sitting on the side of the road reading a newspaper, I'm like, yep, I get it. I get it. I do. Just
That's
having
funny.
some moments to yourself.
Speaking of driving in the car, I was one of the very first new cars that I ever got. Didn't come with a radio. Super cheap, very inexpensive. wasn't a flashy car by any means, but it was new. But the weird part was it just didn't come with a radio. So for the first month, I had nothing to listen to.
Yeah.
I could like aux my phone into the radio, but actually no, I couldn't because that slot for the radio was gone. So if I wanted to listen to something bad enough, I would just put it on my phone and put my phone in the cup holder. But I don't know, I didn't do that. but anyways, dude. So that was actually one of the most nicest, reflective, chill periods of my life.
Yeah.
Was that month that I had no radio in the car, and I would drive to school. It'd be the same 45 minutes. And it was, I took advantage of that because I knew that once I got the radio in there and I got it installed, I'm never doing that again.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
But I knew that while I had the chance, I just enjoyed the silence.
Did you ever have the cassette tape that you plug in to the actual cassette player, and then it had like the aux cable that came out and you plugged into your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how old we are, because I remember that shit for sure.
Cassette tape with the wire that came out of it.
Yep, exactly.
And then
Yep.
I had one of those.
That was before Bluetooth was super prevalent, so you had to do whatever you got to do.
The truck that I have now doesn't have Bluetooth, so I'm forever like auxed into my radio now.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I got cruise control, so I'm happy. I think that's the only bell and or whistle that my truck has is cruise control.
Yeah.
But I'll take it.
Take it. Yeah, you take what you can get.
Courage. Where were we? We get more confessions of Fred to Courage. We get to learn more about this dude and maybe a little bit of his history and why he is the way he is.
Yep.
Let's see. So he tells Courage a second story about how he met his first love named Barbara. And if you remember what Barbara looked like, she was this, young girl, basically Rapunzel. Imagine Rapunzel, right?
Yeah.
Long braided blonde hair.
Long hair, yeah.
All the way to the floor. Now, as Fred tells Courage about his first love named Barbara, he continues to buzz further down Courage's back.
Yeah.
He's cutting this dog's hair.
Yeah.
We cut over to Eustace now again. And by the way, this whole time that Courage and Fred are in the bathroom, it's stressful. Courage is freaking the F out, dude. He's so scared.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, because he's getting his hair cut without his his consent. And
right.
And we hit this music is just creeping him out, and this Fred is a nutbag.
Yeah. And the obnoxious size of that razor.
Yeah, and of course the razor was shaped like this, like it was not a single straight line. And anyway, so we go from that, we cut back to Eustace. Now he's laid out, on the side of the road in a lawn chair under an umbrella. I just love how carefree this dude is.
Yeah, me too. It's awesome.
Courage is able to finally find a phone. I guess they have a bathroom phone.
Yeah, like you do. And he ends up calling the 555 number on Fred's bracelet. I guess to report him or to get him back to the heck wherever he came from. Yeah.
And before you know it, some men in white coats show up and they take Fred away. And I don't know if I took more notes than that. I did not. So that's the episode, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty much the gist of it anyway. So
just a super freaky afternoon with somebody named Fred,
yeah,
who just confessed to being naughty every single chance that he got. Now, if you really like look into this episode and you go online and you look for theories and stuff, it's easy to come across theories that say Fred is actually, his obsession of cutting hair is actually a stand-in for something much more sinister and much more dark, having to do with kids. But I mean, I don't necessarily think that was the message they were trying to telegraph.
Yeah. I mean, you could easily probably pick apart most of these episodes and make it into something that it really wasn't.
Yeah. For sure. People are just drawn to that, when they're on Reddit and they're trying to come up with just wild theories.
Right.
What's the craziest thing I can say? Oh, Fred the barber is actually, he's whatever, fill in the blank.
Yeah, exactly.
But I like to think he's just a weird barber, dude.
Yeah, just a weird ass dude. That's what it comes down to.
In my research in this episode, I came across something I'd never seen before. Have you seen Freaky Fred Reanimated on YouTube?
Reanimated? No, I don't think so. I did come across a lot of like fan art when I was like trying to make the thumbnail or whatever. So
nice.
I knew this was a popular episode, but I guess that really kind of doubled down. I'm like, damn, this is really a very popular episode to the point that people are like, making their own artwork for it.
Yeah, it's one of the highest rated episodes. It's part of the reason why we're covering it. It's because not only did we like it so much, but everybody else did too.
Everybody else did too. Yeah.
So here's what Freaky Fred Reanimated is. It's the same audio. It's the same like 11-minute audio track, but because there's 120 different cuts in the episode where you cut from Eustace talking to, Muriel talking to, because there's 120 of those different scenes.
Yeah.
Somebody gathered 120 different animators to make in their own style their particular scene that they were assigned.
Oh, wow.
So if you watch this 11-minute, and I'll put the link to it in the description or the whatever, so that others can enjoy it as much as I did, and you can too. But it's almost like watching like a fever dream, but it's weirdly familiar because you've seen the episode, you know what it sounds like, but now you get to watch it again with 120 different artists' interpretations.
That's cool.
So one scene will be like claymation. Another scene I remember distinctly was like cardboard stop motion cutouts. And then sometimes it looks like a beautiful anime. Sometimes it looks just like a crudely drawn, Microsoft Paint scene. So just visually watching a new art style every couple seconds for something like that is it was cool to see. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out. That sounds awesome.
I think that's the episode, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say these are they're pretty short and to the point most of the time, but I absolutely love this show, and I'm excited to cover more episodes from it because there's a lot of good ones.
Yeah, for sure. I'm stoked to do more courage, more. Of course, we're still gonna do Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah,
that's become a staple.
Yeah, but these are like these are just fun like one-offs to do occasionally. This among other shows.
Because the show is called 90s Nightmares, not Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right, man. I think I'm ready to wrap there, dude. How about you?
Yep, sounds good.
We did it. Booze, thank you for your time. Listener, thank you for your time, whether you're on the podcast version or the YouTube version. We appreciate you. Sorry if you're on the YouTube version now, you know what we look like, and I feel so bad. Bad for you.
Yeah, it feels bad.
All right, dude. See you next time.
See you guys next time.